Alright, what's up people? This is SiTHFuRioN, and right now we're going to be doing something just a little bit different because I found out yesterday that on Monday the teaser trailer for the new Star Wars Solo movie is going to be dropping. I am so fucking excited, but at the same time I'm really nervous about this movie, really nervous. It's been released in May, we're like at the start of February now, like we should have had some type of trailer, some teaser, something before Christmas, you know what I mean? I thought I would just kind of give my general feelings on this and my prediction for this movie. And I've got a feeling some people ain't gonna like it. And like, even I'm not gonna like it if I'm right. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, then I will probably just delete this video and, you know, no harm, no foul. But if I'm right, man, Disney needs to sort out the upper management of Lucasfilm and do something different because things ain't working. Okay, so to kind of talk about my predictions for this new Solo movie, we need to kind of talk about how the other movies that Lucasfilm has knocked out and their kind of format of a structure of characters. Okay, this is going to be so controversial. I think Kathleen Kennedy is being way heavy-handed when it comes to women in space. Even Grace from Beyond the Trailer has said the same type of thing. Like me personally, I don't care if the main lead is male, female, black, white, just tell a good story. That's all I want, it's just a good story. Like some of my most favourite movies of all time have had female leads. You know, like the Alien movies, Sigourney Weaver knocked that out the park. Tremendous movie. Long Kiss Goodnight, Gina Davis. Oh my God, if you've never seen that movie, go check it out. Go check it out. God, there's so many movies. I even like that one, Sucker Punch. I honestly thought Sucker Punch was beyond, like way before its time. Like Sucker Punch is actually a really smart movie, you know? Very cleverly shot and all the female cast did a tremendous job. Great film, great film. I don't care, like I said, male, female, black or white. Just tell a good story. That's all I want.
The Walt Disney Company has been amazing because they very much support the fact that we are trying to grow in the workforce, a number of women in executive positions and in all positions inside the company, and with the movies that we're making and with the protagonists that we're putting in the stories. So I get a huge amount of support with that. But we have 50% of our executive team are women, and 6 out of 8 of the people in my story group are women. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that would be surprised that we're making Star Wars movies and the majority of the people involved in the development of those stories are women. And I think that it's making a huge difference in the stories that we're trying to tell.
And so, like when you look at all the Star Wars movies that we've had so far, like you can complain about this, you can complain about that, or say you like this, you can like that. But at the end of the day, they're all structured the same type of way, with a strong female lead and a male sidekick. Every one of them has been the exact same type of format. In The Force Awakens, it was Rey. She was the one who was completely flawless. She never made really any mistakes. She was always on point, focused. She was the one pushing the story forward every time. While Finn, he was the clumsy sidekick, kind of make it up as I go along type of thing, who was being dragged along the story as well. In Rogue One, it was Jen Erso. She was the one pushing the storyline along. She wasn't necessarily perfect, but I don't think she really made any big mistakes. She wasn't really like a flawed character, but she wasn't perfect either. But she was the one pushing the storyline along, and instead of a clumsy sidekick, she had Cassian, someone who was very capable, but also flawed. You know, he was this kind of like bad guy, and then his character arc was to do the right thing near the end. But it's the same type of format. Strong female lead, male sidekick. In The Last Jedi, same type of thing. You had Rey pushing the storyline. She's the one focused because she needs to get from point A to point B. So focused. While Luke's is like, oh, I don't want to do it. Type of sidekick for her. And then the most other obvious kind of role was Rose and Finn. Rose was completely focused. She's got to do this for the memory of her sister. She needs to go forward. She wants to do the right thing, fight against the First Order for the Resistance, just do the right thing, while Finn once again is playing the kind of clumsy, awkward, make it up as I go along clumsy sidekick. Every movie has followed this same format. Now, I can't speak for Battlefront 2 because I haven't played that campaign yet, but I do know it also has a female lead. And like I said, I don't care. If you're going to have a female lead, have a female lead. Just tell a good story, you know? But anyway, my point is every one of these movies has had the same type of format. Strong female lead pushing the story with a male sidekick helping her along. So with that being said, going into this new Solo movie, Emilia Clarke, I think she's billed as like the main female on the story, possible love interest or something. I think it's going to be her story. I think she needs to get from point A to point B. I think she's the one that's got the mission. She's the one that's got to be focused. She's got to do the right thing, maybe fight against the Empire or do something. But she needs to push the storyline along. And the only way that she can achieve it by getting from point A to point B is with the help of Han Solo. He's not going to be the lovable rogue that we all know from the original trilogy. He's going to be a lot younger, a lot more awkward, clumsy, make it up as I go along type of Han Solo. Even more than the one that we know from the original trilogy. But I think that's how they're going to play Han. From what I've read, he's going to be working for the Empire. I think because of Emilia Clarke or possibly his feelings for her, he might defect. That might be the actual reason why he defects against the Empire. And I think he's generally going to help her on her story. He's going to be the sidekick while she's pushing the storyline along. And along the way, they're going to come across Chewie. I think they're going to kind of stick to the original canon, Legends story of how Han met Chewie and, you know, saving his life and everything. I think they'll stick to that. And then along the way, they're going to need a faster ship. And the only person who's got a real fast ship is Lando, so they're going to go and speak Lando and get the Millennium Falcon and go on and ultimately help Emilia Clarke achieve her goal.
316, report to control.
I think Han Solo is going to be a sidekick in his own movie. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, then you can probably comment down below how wrong I am when like the teaser or trailer comes out. And I'll probably end up deleting the video and say, fuck it, I was wrong, who cares? But if I'm right that it's become so predictable, I think Disney needs to seriously look at the upper management at Lucasfilm and start shifting stuff around. I think they're going to do it anyway, especially how The Last Jedi bombed. Like every time I've tried to do like a review of that movie, man, it goes into like a 2-hour rant. I'm not gonna lie. Like the last time I did it, my voice got all broke up and everything, and I ended up losing the footage when my hard drive went on my laptop. So I'm gonna need to refilm it. I might wait now until the Blu-ray comes out and see if they put any changes in the Blu-ray, and then redo like a review for it. But yeah, my thoughts on The Last Jedi ain't good. And like if you look at the actual stats, like the actual box office stats, like The Last Jedi has done really bad when it comes to money. I think if the Han Solo movie does the same, it bombs. I think heads are going to be rolling in Lucasfilm. I know like people are already trying to get like a petition started for Catherine Kennedy to be like sacked or for her to step down or something like that, right? It's obvious that she has her own agenda of trying to cater to the female fans. What's fine, but it's like you're kind of sticking the middle finger up at everyone else who's kept this franchise alive for like the last 30 plus years, you know what I mean? It's like cater to everybody. I know that's hard to do, but you're not doing it by having every single movie you're putting out having female leads and having male sidekicks, and you know what I mean? it's not gonna work. That's not catering to everybody, you know? I'm willing to give her the benefit of the doubt because I think she has done a pretty good job so far. I think she has just been very kind of like focused on just pushing females in space and not thinking about the whole story. Solo movie, I'm willing to see where it goes. Episode 9, I'm willing to see where it goes, even though I have no interest in episode 9 now. Mainly because Rey has turned out to be nobody. Snoke is dead. Luke's dead. It's like there's just no interest in episode 9 for me now. But from what I've read, they've kind of like teased that Snoke is going to come back. You know, I think JJ is going to try and like pull things back and change things, make it out like Snoke is so powerful with the Force that he can't die, you know, and make it out like Kylo was lying to Rey when he said that she was nobody. You know what I mean? I think he's going to try and fix things and patch things up. Even though I've read that the novel of The Last Jedi is going to have a lot more of extra stuff to kind of fill in the gaps. What I think is kind of funny, everyone's complaining about The Last Jedi and its flaws, and then this book is going to try and fix it. It's like, well, if you had that like story set from the get-go, why isn't it in the movie? You know, why ain't there like deleted scenes in the Blu-ray? Why do you need to put it all in a book? You know what I mean? The books are great for extra little details here and there, but if you're going to add whole entire pieces of scenes and stuff like, I don't know, maybe it's just me. But I'm willing to give Kathleen Kennedy a chance, see where this goes. But I think after the Solo movie, after episode 9, if things carry on the way that they're going, on like a downward slope, I think Kathleen Kennedy should step down. Obviously, she's not doing the right job, and I'm not saying she should like she should step down and let a man take her place. It could be another woman. You know what I mean? The gender thing doesn't matter to me. It really don't. I just think it's Kathleen Kennedy's agenda. I just think the way that she's focused on how she wants to tell these stories, I think is flawed. I think we need someone who's a bit more open-minded and whose scope is a bit more broader than just that. You know what I mean? Just push the story. But yeah, I've been rambling on for long enough. This was like parts of my Star Wars, like The Last Jedi review. Like I said, I would like do it and talk for 2+ hours. I would just sit here and just ramble, talk about all these things and just... So I think when I come to actually do the Star Wars The Last Jedi review for like a Blu-ray, I think it's going to be a little more, a bit more condensed, because I'm not going to have to talk about the Solo movie and Kathleen Kennedy and everything, even though I'm pretty sure it will come up. But just to make it very clear, I don't have a problem with women in space. I'm not that like small-minded. Like, I don't care. Just tell a good story, please. I don't care if the lead is male, female, black or white. Just tell a good story. And it's bad that I actually have to say stuff like that over and over again, because some people, they only listen to what they want to hear. You know what I mean? And then they post in the comments, "You're a sexist pig." Because I had it with the Ghostbusters like review video that I did. Like, I made it very clear, I don't care. I don't care if the females are the leads of the movie. Just tell a good story. But yet people seem to just, they pick little segments of what I've said instead of listening to the whole thing. You see what I'm saying? Oh, it's so annoying. But yeah, to kind of like quickly talk about the Ghostbusters movie, or just women in movies and television now. I think the difference between movies now and movies, say, back from the 80s and stuff, back in the 80s and 90s, it was about just telling a story. They just wanted just to tell a story. Like, take the first Alien movie, for example. That was just a story about a crew in space, and they come across some alien life form, and it starts killing everyone on the ship. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure, like, when they first started writing the scripts, because I've like watched those movies with the director's cut and I mean like the director's commentary and stuff, and like the first few like scripts, it wasn't like kind of referred to who was male, who was female. They were just named. Each crew member had a name, and that was it. And it weren't until like the casting period was when they said, okay, well, Ripley, I guess we'll make her a woman, you know, but Ripley could have been a man. They had a story first. With the Alien movie, they wanted just to tell a story about this terrifying creature in space that was killing crewmen. That was their point of making that movie, and that's why to this day that movie still holds up. That first Alien movie, and even the sequel, Aliens, those two movies stand up and they stand the test of time. Why? Because they just wanted just to tell a good, decent story. You know what I mean? Regardless if the hero or heroine was male or female, they just wanted just to tell a good story. I don't know, I just think like a lot of older movies stand the test of time more because they were just focused on just telling a story. They didn't have this like agenda, like, oh, we just need to push female like dominance onto society, we need to put females up here. they wasn't thinking that. They just wanted just to tell a good story. You know what I mean? Regardless if the lead was male or female. You know, with a lot of modern day movies, they don't work. Like, okay, take that Ghostbusters movie, the 2016 Ghostbusters flop. Take that exact same script with the exact same budget and film it again, but with all male cast. The exact same timing with the jokes, exact same punchlines, the exact same scene for scene, exact same movie, but just with a male cast. And you know what will happen? The movie will still flop. The movie will still bomb because it's a bad story. Like what we're having now with, I think it's called Ocean's 8. It's the female flip of Ocean's 11. I think that's going to flop as well. It's going to flop. Like, I think Grace has kind of brought this up as well, Grace from Beyond the Trailer, about how, like, the reason why they flop, because, like, a key element is the love interest. You know, how with the original Ghostbusters movie, it was Sigourney Weaver. Dana Barrett was the kind of love interest to Peter Venkman. You know, he was the one that was kind of like, okay, maybe it weren't necessarily love, it might be lust. Like, he generally had feelings for her, so he was willing to kind of put himself on the line to save her. There was some kind of, like, love interest there. But then with the 2016 Ghostbusters movie, there was no love interest. Kirsten Wiig's character had no love interest at all. I think it would have been better if they did have a love interest. The only kind of male that they had in it was Thor. Chris Hemsworth. And they played him out to be like some dumb, clumsy, I don't know what I'm doing because I have a penis type of character. You know what I mean? Like, come on. With the Oceans movie, Oceans 11, George Clooney, like, his character had feelings for Julia Roberts' character. Like, they used to be married, and like, there was a whole thing with his feelings for her and that whole kind of dynamic, and how George Clooney's character was willing to sacrifice everything for her type of thing, you know? I think with Oceans 8, it's not going to have that element. Sandra Bullock's character isn't going to have that kind of love interest. It's not going to have that dynamic to the movie. And that's where it's going to flop. You know, and I think the reason why these female versions don't have that love interest, to be honest, I think it would make them look weak. You know, to have a strong female lead in a story, but at the same time she's flawed because she loves a guy. She's willing to sacrifice everything for this guy. You know, that's why these movies ain't gonna work. They're not gonna work. You have to stop being so narrow-minded and think about the big picture and just tell a good fucking story. That's all I want, is just a good story. Oh, it makes me so angry. It makes me so angry when I hear people talk about this. And, like, I've got one or two friends who
We're opening the magnetic field.
Who are very kind of left-wing, and they are very kind of like, well, women should be in these movies, and I'm all for that, but we get into very heated kind of, like, not arguments, but we get into very kind of heated discussions sometimes, and I keep, like, trying to say to them, like, look, stop looking at it like this and look at it like this. Look at the big picture, right? Because what's happening now isn't new. It's made to look like it's new. This big empowering women in movies and television, like Doctor Who has now got a female doctor, like, all of a sudden. Not like they could have done that 20 years ago. No, they're doing it now with this, all of a sudden with this big movement of empowering women in television and movies. It's this forced agenda. They're not doing it because they want to tell a good story. They're not doing it because it's a part of a good story. They're just doing it because they need to have it. And that to me is forced. That to me is fake. That to me is a agenda of the movie and television executives pushing it forward. Like, go back to the early days, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I used to love that show. Like how many boundaries did Buffy the Vampire Slayer break back in the day? And it was just about telling a story about this girl, a teenage girl who against her will was given these abilities and stuff, and she's had to fight against evil and darkness and vampires and all of this other shit, and also live a normal life. You know what I mean? Like that's a story. Like, the whole character arc of how she just wanted just to be a normal girl, go to the prom and have a boyfriend and do all this normal shit. But yet she also had this other thing, saving the world and fighting off the Hellmouth, and, like, that's a story. That's not trying to push female dominance onto society. That's just telling a good fucking story. Same as like Battlestar Galactica. That came out years ago. The remake of that came out years ago. And how many boundaries did that break? Like, seriously. You had dominant male characters in the original flipped and made female. Starbuck and Boomer. And I know, like I remember reading on the internet, some people were pissed about that. But now looking back on the show, that was some of the best things about it. I love the remake. I personally think the remake is so much better compared to the original 70s stuff. Because it was just telling a story. It wanted to tell a good story. And I know I've gone off on a very long tangent rant right now. I might upload this as like a separate video, just me ranting about, you know, women in space or like movies and shit. But no, it's getting to the point now where I think it's so, I don't know, I just think it's like there's so many good things from the past that has had female leads, that has been dominant, that is kind of like been a benchmark for strong women, but they didn't set out to kind of really do that. They just wanted just to tell a good story. The reason why a lot of modern day movies and a lot of modern day TV shows fail now is because that's their main kind of agenda. Their first bullet point should be telling a good story, but it's not. That comes secondary. Telling a good story nowadays comes secondary to this agenda of empower women. And I think that's where it's going wrong. Like, very, very quick, right? I'm not going to go into too much details because I've got my own ideas about telling my own Star Wars story one day. And maybe one day, if I generate enough revenue from Patreon or from YouTube or whatnot, I might get a good, decent camera and actually film my own little not home movie. I might actually film my own little short story thing. Here's my little story, okay? Take two friends, right? Two people who, one of them is married and has a kid. Like, let's say that the kind of smugglers, the kind of small time, they're trading things from point A to point B. They meet someone who says, like, come and speak to the boss, like he's got some a big deal for you. You guys are building up a name for yourself, like you need to come in and speak to him, you know, or her. Come in and speak to the boss. And they walk in, and like I don't want to use like the Huts, you know what I mean? So we'll use like some other type of gangster on like another planet. And so they work out some deal. They need to take some cargo from point A to point B. It's stolen Empire cargo, and they need to take it through Empire space. And there's possible dangers and everything. So like the gangster guy gives these two guys more of a crew to help him and a faster ship, and they go and smuggle the cargo over. And they go through space, and there's all this adventure, blah, 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 blah. That's basically like the gist of the story. I don't want to go into too much detail because, like, spoilers, in case one day I have, like, the budget to make it. But it's very dark and gritty. There's no Jedis, there's no Force. It's just a movie set in the Star Wars universe. You know what I mean? It could be very easily made in the real world. How you've got two people, they're smuggling drugs from point A to point B across the country. There's some gangster in New York that says, like, look, I've got a whole load of stolen police weaponry and stuff that needs to be transported down into Mexico. You guys need to trade it for me. Here's some money. Here's some people to help. Go. And then just tell that story of them going down to Mexico, trying to go past the border, going down into Mexico, and trials and tribulations. It's a normal story like that, but set in the Star Wars universe. You know what I mean? With different characters and probably a bounty hunter or something. Like, that's the type of movie that I would want to make. That's the type of story that I wanted to tell. And at no point am I thinking that our two main leads are male, female, black or white. In fact, it's going to come down to possibly which actors come in and audition that seems to be right for the role, or I just get a coin and flip it. Heads, male, tails, female, and just flip the coin and, okay, one lead is a female, one lead is a male. Okay, next, heads is black, tails white, and flip it, and, you know what I mean? Do it that. Just flip the coin, who cares? It doesn't really fucking matter at the end of the day if the lead is male, female, black, white, whatever. Because as long as you're telling a good story, that's all that matters. You see what I'm saying? That's how I would do it. That's how I literally would do my movies. If I got to the point where I could make movies, I would just want to tell a good story. You know what I mean? And then flip a coin to decide like who's male, female, and you know, even if the two leads ended up being both male, and somewhere along the storyline I kind of thought, well, they're getting so close, maybe there's a bit of like chemistry there, then they're both male. And along the story there's a bit of a chemistry there, and who knows, maybe they're gay. Maybe they're gay smugglers in the Star Wars universe. Like, who cares? Who cares? I'm telling a story. You know what I mean? And there could be two women. Now that would be a good scene. Two female smugglers who turn gay in space. Have a good scene of them making love and like floating in space because like the gravity system went off. Like, I don't know. Disney would never approve of that. Anyway, I feel like I've been rambling on for long enough. In fact, let me check. 41 minutes. 41 minutes. Are you kidding me? This was meant to be just a quick little video before I've got to go out later. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna try and get this edited and up for you guys tonight. If not, it will be Saturday morning. Well, then again, I might be pretty hungover tomorrow morning. It's gonna go up before Monday. Before the trailer drops, this video's gonna go up. I just hope I'm wrong about the Solo movie. I really do hope I'm wrong. But you just gotta look at what's come before, you know? Force Awakens, Rogue One, Last Jedi, female leads with a male sidekick. And now this one, I don't think they're gonna break the wheel. I don't think they're gonna change the format. Or maybe they have. Maybe they have broke it and it is gonna be Han Solo's movie. And that's why it's being kind of pushed to the side. Because they're not advertising it. They're not like, here's a new Star Wars movie, yay, woo! It's kind of like, yeah, new movie out in May. The teaser's going to be out start of February. First trailer will be probably March. Second trailer will be April. And then just, once that's out, it's out. It's the male movie. We're catering to the male audience. We're going to give them the movie that they want because they've been complaining about it for so long. So we're going to give them that. But then episode 9, woo! I don't know. I just thought I should just put my feelings out there so you guys can see where I kind of stand on this situation. Yeah, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll just delete this video. If I'm right, then wow. Okay, give this video a thumb up if you like it. Comment down below. Let me know how much of a sexist I am, because I know there'll be somebody that will comment and say something. But if you haven't already, subscribe, man. Alright, I'll catch you all in the next one, man.
Your destiny lies with me, Skywalker.